Friday, the 25th of July. I'm meteorologist Matthew East here in the weather on the One's Forecast Center. We had a cold front slide through the region late yesterday. Ahead of it, still a fairly hot day. Certainly very, very muggy yesterday. Highs in the upper 80s to mid 90s around a lot of the region, and we did have a good coverage of showers and storms, but a little bit of a different scenario this morning. There's a look. A couple sites across North Carolina, the Avalon Pier web camera on the left, the Beach Mountain Parkway cam from resortcams.com on the right. The temperature down to 58 in Beach Mountain. How about that? A lot of mountain spots are down into the 50s this morning, still 71 over in Kill Devil Hills, but the wind is out of the north-northwest. If you're heading to the coast this weekend, first of all, the Outer Banks looks pretty good. A couple thunderstorms a possibility today and Sunday, but certainly not a washout. Highs in the 80s. If you're heading to the Wilmington area and surrounding beaches, 80s. Pretty decent chance of some showers or storms today, but only a limited storm chance tomorrow and Sunday, looking primarily dry. There's your winds. Notice across the state of North Carolina, if you have a wind at all, it's basically out of the north, and that is bringing in a little bit of a drier air mass. It's not a huge change, but our dew point temperatures about 4 to 6 degrees off of what we had at this point yesterday in a good chunk of North Carolina, and that is going to be enough to bring us a little bit of a cooler, drier feel to the air. Temperatures in the 60s in a lot of spots across the Piedmont and the foothills. Again, many mountain spots down into the 50s early this morning. That cold front has moved through and is in the process of stalling out just to the south of us. Now, again, we did have a pretty good coverage of these showers and thunderstorms yesterday as the front was moving through. Some of the storms were relatively intense with a lot of lightning, and certainly there were some big issues with the storms up into parts of Virginia. You've probably seen the news headlines about the RV park there that was hit by the wind and the tornadic activity there, and a storm survey is being conducted on that. But certainly a different scenario on the way today. Now let's talk about rain totals. Now, the distribution of rain was fairly widespread yesterday. Now there were some spots that missed out on the rain, but again, a pretty good coverage of showers and storms. Some spots, such as I'll give you an example here, a couple spots around the Triad viewing area over 1.5 inches and even over 2 inches of rain, and you could do the same basic thing here when you get down into parts of the Charlotte metro area. You get north and east of Charlotte up toward Cornelius and that area, over 1 inch of rain, and some spots over 2. Now the radar this morning is quiet. I wanted to show you this very quickly. Did have a wind damage report there in the northern parts of Randolph County. Had a few other reports here with this activity a little near and north of Kannapolis. Several wind damage reports there, and also some wind down around Rock Hill with the thunderstorm activity yesterday. Now again, there's your radar this morning. Pretty quiet. There's been some showers and storms close to the coast. That is with the front. And behind the front, things are pretty quiet all the way back through the Ohio Valley. But then you hit some showers and storms with our next storm system already beginning to take shape back into parts of the Plain States. Now that frontal boundary that moved through last night and late yesterday, kind of stalling out to the south. A few isolated showers cannot be ruled out today, but I do think the majority of us across the Piedmont will stay rain-free today, and your high temperatures topping out in the mid-80s in many spots, and a little bit less muggy too. Now tomorrow the heat will build back in here, and I think a lot of us 90 or better for our Saturday afternoon high temperatures. And then as we get into Sunday, that next cold front getting closer. We'll see highs quite hot on Sunday. Now, there's a pretty decent threat of some severe storms in this basic area on Sunday. It'll all depend on how the small-scale features set up, but that could be a pretty sizable severe weather risk, and we'll see if any of those storms kind of drift down into northern North Carolina by Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. Certainly going to be hot, highs well into the 90s in many spots on Sunday afternoon. But again, as we get toward next work week, things change. That front slides through Monday with some thunderstorm chances, and then significantly cooler and drier air will take over. Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday as well. Next week, we're talking highs low and mid-80s in many spots, very low levels of humidity, and it could even see a couple spots dip into the upper 50s for lows again by Wednesday or Thursday morning. Tropics, no problems here through the Atlantic Basin. What was once Tropical Depression number 2, hard to even find what's left of it on the satellite imagery this morning, and things are pretty quiet down across the Gulf of Mexico as well. All right, that is it for today's edition of the video. Everybody have a wonderful weekend, and God bless.